Yeah, I'm Duckman here with another special guest here from Windsor Swim Club, very talented swim club here, and the man who is holding all the keys at the moment, Brad Ryan, the head coach. Brad, thanks for your time today.
No dramas, thanks for having me.
So, how long have you been involved in the swim game for now?
I've been actually a member of swim clubs, Windsor Swim Club, since I was 2.
Yeah.
So what's that? That makes it 23 years. So there you go.
There you go. You're still only a young guy yourself, and you're doing phenomenal stuff with the young talented athletes, and you've got plenty of them down here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been head coach here for I think 4 years now, but yeah, very lucky to have such a talented group underneath me. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's a very disciplined sport, swimming, because you got to get up in all sorts of weather, night and day. Like the kids told me, they're doing night and day. They're doing it summer, winter. It's not always perfect. Get out there 30-degree days to get out, and you have to swim on your own. You've got all the mental stuff in your head to get through. How do you drive them through that?
Yeah, it is tough. Honestly, there's not many sports where you have to crawl yourself out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and get to training and then back it up again in the afternoon. But honestly, I think it's just the results that drive these guys. When you go to meets and they start taking PBs, or they started making qualifying times for certain events, I think that's what drives them, honestly. And I'm there to give a helping hand, but they're the ones that are that disciplined, and they sort of motivate themselves, I think, a lot of the time.
Yeah. So I just had a chat to Gypsy, Noah and Josh, and they're very talented, and they're considerate. They think of like what they're talking about, and they're also respectful as well, which is good. They don't come across very arrogant. So you must do a lot to help keep them grounded, keep their feet on the ground, and stay focused on the goals.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. There's a big part of our squad, I feel. The environment is, we love to have a joke and have a laugh, but when it's time to get serious, they switch on, and sometimes it's a fine line, but I think they tread it pretty closely. And I've never had any sort of attitude problems with these guys. They zip their lip when it's time, and they sort of do what I ask of them, and I can't ask much more than that from them. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when you're putting together training regimes, what does a training regime look for the kids in the morning, or the whole team members? What's the oldest guys you've got in the team, guys and girls, and what's the youngest?
Yeah, so we obviously split into levels, so we've got 4 levels here in our squad program. The gold and silver guys are the older guys, the more elite guys. That the training starts to get a little more technical. But yeah, putting together training stuff for gold and for silver, just making sure that sort of each person's taken care of for what they're targeting swimming. So it gets a little bit crazy with kids. You talk to Gypsy, she's swimming 53 at nationals. Then you talk to guys that are doing open water 5-kilometre events. So there's a big range between those sorts of guys. So just trying to make sure that we cover all bases and they're always prepared for what they need to be doing at whatever time of the season it is.
And it would be very hard to do that, because there's like multiple disciplines, all different, like got butterfly, breaststroke, freestyle, everything backstroke. Then the open swims, that's different altogether. So how do you manage the whole program? Do you have someone that helps you with the swim programs for the squad?
I've got four great coaches under me that help me, especially with the silver group. A lot of their success is attributed to the coaches that are under me, for sure. But I get admin time to go through and sort of do my research and put together every program that, like I said, try my best to cover all bases for all the guys and what they need to be doing at that time. And the guys that are targeting breaststroke or targeting sprints, when they know that they need to sort of probably hit different sessions or different targets throughout the week, that the guys that are swimming the longer stuff or the different strokes are. So again, as they get older, they get a lot better at knowing sort of what they need to be doing in the water as well. Yeah.
So swimming's not a sport where longevity is a big thing. So there is longevity in time, but you see swimmers, people like, if they retire by the age of 25, they've probably swum for 20 plus years as well. So people forget that side of it. Like, you can't just jump in, like I said to Michael before, and start swimming 5 laps staying on and be in the Olympics in 2 years. That's not going to happen, is it?
No, it's a big journey, and I think one of the most important things is trying to keep, especially guys at this age, is trying to keep them interested in wanting to come and train. But a lot of the guys that are sort of hitting the Olympic age, and when they're sort of between that sort of 20-24, like you said, those guys have been swimming since at least sort of 10 years old. There might be some that start a bit later, but it's rare that they're sort of starting any later than that. So it is a long journey, and so I think one of the most important things is trying to keep them interested and just making sure they're enjoying what they're doing, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what did your swim career look like when it started? You said you're a member of the club when you were 2. So Did you get in competitive swimming and everything as well?
Yeah, I swam competitively when I was a young fella, and kind of moved away from the sport actually when I sort of turned 11, 12, and my coach at the time sort of took over and kind of whipped me into gear and said, if you're going to have a crack, we may as well do it properly. And we became really good friends, and yeah, he definitely motivated me to sort of push on to when I was sort of 16, 17 before I sort of moved into coaching. Yeah. And I think that's the same sort of message I try and push on my guys. We can have that, sort of push that friendship coach relationship. But like I said, when they're in the water and it's time to switch on, they give me what I need, so it's good.
Yeah, it's good to see that as well. And you obviously do a good job mentoring, and we've got a lot of respect for you as well. So I've seen at different times, and I coach sport myself, where you get fractured relationships sometimes between the coach and player, but it looks like it's all pretty harmonised here and humming along nicely.
Yeah, I think it's just about being open. I'll sit down regularly with these guys and talk about anything that they need to be sort of doing, or any concerns that they have. They know they can come to me and talk about it, and it might not have anything to do with swimming. It might be school issues, it might be out of school stuff. Yeah, I sort of take on that role, and I'm happy to talk through sort of any problems that they have, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why they all sort of respond well, and I think that's just what you need to do. Yeah.
So what's your aims and ambitions as a swim coach? Who do you look up to as like a role model in the coaching world, and where do you think you can take your journey from here?
Honestly, my goal at the moment is just to try to keep building Windsor as big as it can get. I've never known anything else but this club. So, and like I said, there's so many talented particular junior kids coming through. So, I'd love to sort of see where I can take those guys. And as far as people I look up to, the coaches that I've worked under in the past are big inspirations to me, and I'll still keep in contact with them now. And I don't sort of look any sort of further above that. Very hard to look at sort of an Olympic coach when I'm coaching here. It's very different circumstances, but I don't see any reason why some of these guys couldn't go on and reach some of those goals, like big events. So, but yeah, honestly, my goal right now just to try and keep growing this club and just see where some of these guys can get to.
So clubs compete against other clubs, not just at individual level with the swimmers. So how does this club stack up when they go to championships against the other clubs around New South Wales?
Yeah, there's some big clubs around New South Wales. And I feel like for our size and sort of for where we're located, we punch well above our weight. I think the last time we finished a junior state meet, we finished in the top 10. So that's pretty big considering some of the size of the clubs and sheer numbers that they have around the place. Finished a little bit further behind that in the senior stuff, but yeah, like I said, I think for our club size and for where we're located, I think we bat well above our average, to be honest. Yeah.
Absolutely. Brad, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it, having a chat to me, and appreciate being able to have time to chat to some of the talented youngsters you got within this group as well. I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. Hope you're able to keep in touch with you and do some follow-ups throughout the year and see how you're going.
For sure. I appreciate your time, and thanks for coming out and having a chat. It was awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. No worries. There you go, Brad. So he's a coach here at Windsor Swim Club. All phenomenal for all young people, and very talented. Appreciate their time very much today. Keep on ducking, everyone. You're going to catch this. It'll go up on YouTube later on, and you'll hear it on Pulse FM as well throughout the next couple of weeks.